isn't it? You got to get Fox ready. You know, I used to know these people.
Governor,
Wow.
You've recently reached out to the president asking him to okay the loan for the Piketon operation. Given that, have you read and do you have a stance on the American Jobs Act, given that he's coming here?
You know, I don't know all the details of it, Joe. You know, I like, the one thing I do know about it is the payroll tax reduction. Look, I mean, the situation is that the country's really struggling economically. There's no doubt about it. You know, at this time, it'd be easy to just make some statement and, you know, kind of walk away and, you know, kind of blast the president. It's just not my mood now. That it's not what I like to do, and it's not. This is not a time for partisanship. This is a time to figure out a way in which we can get things moving in the country. I call a lot of CEOs, and things are in many areas are beginning to stall. I mean, for Ohio, it would really be great if we could get the loan guarantee for Piketon. That's 3,000 or 4,000 jobs, you know, in the southern part of Ohio that desperately needs it. In addition, you know, we've got to see if there's a way for the Congress and the President to find some things to spark this economy, because it has its implications not just for the United States but also for Ohio. I mean, it's when people do not have confidence in the future, whether it's the average citizen or whether it's a corporation, when there's no confidence, they usually do nothing, which means that you enter into a long stall. So, you know, at this point, I would hope that Congress would take a very good look at the president's agenda. There's a couple things that I'd like to see. I'd like to see some flexibility on Medicaid, so we could serve more and be able to fashion a program that fits Ohio, and you know, and secondly, job training. I mean, this is such a big issue for Ohio, such a big issue for the country. We need to have more flexibility to do with the dollars that we can do. We have 81,000 job openings the last time I checked our website, and we just need to get people trained for the jobs that exist. But at the same time, this economy's got to be spurred, and frankly, that gets down to less regulation. I'm glad the president moved on the EPA to stall some of those regs. It's regulations, it's anticipation on taxes, and it's some certainty. And without it, people sit on the sidelines, and it's frustrating to everyone, and families and children pay the price.
The president's going to be at a school tomorrow. Part of his ideas being building in schools and keeping teachers hired and whatnot. Is that something that you
I don't know the details of the program, but the single biggest thing that's going to get this economy moving again is giving businesses confidence that they can see what the future is, so they can begin to invest and hire people. Right now, they have lots of cash in the bank, but they don't want to spend it. And they don't want to spend it because they don't know what the future is going to mean. And the biggest thing that we can do for our schools, for our local communities, create permanent jobs. And that's what I hope the president will be able to sit with the congressional leaders. There seems to be some kind of easing of tensions there. Sit down and figure out how we get confidence so that the business community can hire people and we can have the kind of prosperity that we're all hoping for.
Governor, the legislature gets back into action this week. Is there any kind of preview that you might be able to offer us as to some of the things that the administration will pursue in the second half?
Well, you know, we're doing preliminary analysis to see if we'll have a capital bill. That's not been finally determined yet. If we do one, we're going to do it in a different way so that we can strengthen Ohio rather than focus on strengthening regions and have one region compete against another. You know, we're moving forward with a lot of our job training ideas. We do anticipate a second budget. It won't be like the first one, but there'll be what we call a mid-biennial review. That will be important to us as well. But, you know, a lot of this gets to making sure we execute the programs that we pass, because we had the most sweeping budget. And, you know, I head out today. I'll be in New York on Tuesday. I'll be meeting with the rating agencies again to give them a report in terms of of what we're doing. But Joe, it's a long list of things, but I wouldn't anticipate real significant things. Well, they're all significant, but nothing major that we'll be doing in the next couple weeks. But I meet with them all the time, and we still have a very robust agenda. Potentially the Capitol bill, another budget, job training, turnpike. I mean, the list goes on and on.
The mid-biennial review, is that something that would require passage by the legislature?
Yeah, we'd work with the legislature. We want to keep reforming the government, trying to get it into a position of where we continue to be viewed as job-friendly. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I think is happening in Ohio right now, is we're starting to get a reputation for meeting challenges, getting things done, and our focus every day is on the issue of jobs. And we should, I think, going to have an announcement pretty soon, where I'm hoping on a headquarters coming to Ohio.
I'm heading to Pickerington this afternoon to see some
Pickerington,
who are teachers who are talking about overcrowding. It's a We Are Ohio event, but is this an issue that you're seeing? Are you confident that most schools in Ohio are not overwhelmed by overcrowding in a high?
Well, I think it varies from district to district. We are in the process of working on a school funding program, a new one, that would try to move dollars into the classroom rather than the overhead and bureaucracy. We have some school districts in Ohio where the number of students has gone down, but the amount of personnel in the schools has gone up. So all this has to be rebalanced. We're also at the bottom of the list when it comes to dollars in the classroom, and you have to put dollars in the hands of teachers and students because instruction is where it's at. Each of these districts have their different challenges, which is why we believe it's important that we can share services between schools, school districts, and cities. And secondly, it's why we're trying to give local districts the ability to control their personnel costs. At the same time, I have to tell you, for those good teachers, we want to pay them more. I mean, that's my goal over time, is that the best ones have to be paid more, and that those are not the high performers, and they're not going to make as much as the high performers. So we'll see. Okay?
What are you going to tell the bonding agencies?
Well, that I was up there and told them what we were going to do, and we did it. That's always a good message. That's why I wanted to go back. I suppose if I told them what we were going to do, if we hadn't done it, I probably wouldn't be going back. So we have some good news.
Will you discuss with the rating agency Senate Bill 5 and the upcoming campaign?
Oh, probably. We'll see. Probably. As it relates to our state budget, most state employees are already paying what we're asking all other employees to do. But we'll discuss it, I'm sure. But what they're focused on are structural problems, and they'll probably want to know more about pensions. We'll see. But our message is going to be that we had an $8 billion hole. We told you what we were going to do. We told you it wasn't going to involve one-time money. We told you we'd take down the structural deficit and we'd cut taxes, and we did it. And it's always good to remind people about what you did, so it gives you credibility going forward.
Are you going to New York before or after the president is in town? And
I'm leaving today. Okay. I'll be gone for a couple days. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Governor.
Thank you, Governor.